Good morning. My name is Karen Kong, and I'm a I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Oh my gosh, I just had a brain freeze there for a second. I think my coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Sorry, I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ottawa, and welcome to my This or That Thursday. Every week I try to post 2 cards in my group, and I ask you, my crafting community, to vote on a card for me to make live on Thursday mornings. And it was just won by a smidgen. We're making this card today. So just let me get my computer set up. I'm going to just be able to see your comments while we are crafting together. And please say hi if you are watching live and join in the conversation. I don't enjoy talking to myself. I'm not good at it. So join in the conversation, ask me questions, and if you're watching on replay, I would love it if you say hi as well. Okay, just a second. All right. Okay, so my computer is set up. I'm going to just switch my my phone over to the desktop so you can see what we're making today. Just close your eyes while I set up the phone, okay? Just a second. Here we go. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. There we go. I think we're good to go now. All right, so this is the card we're making. I know I've kind of gone crazy with the nests of Winter DSP. I mean, there's just so many cute little birds, and they're just begging to be fussy cut. To me, at least. I know a lot of my friends, my crafty friends, do not really enjoy fussy cutting, but really it's not so bad. And I'm going to make so many cards with this. So if you're getting a Christmas card from me this year, don't be surprised, because I think this is going to be the set that I'm going to go with, because I'm just going to be able to make so many cards with this. So what I did was that I took the Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder and I embossed a piece of paper here. So if you can just see, I don't know if you how well you can see this, but the snow, instead of falling down, I thought, why don't I let it go sideways? So it's more like a gust of wind, and the majority of the snow is here and it's blowing away over there. Good morning, Sandra. How are you? So yeah, so I wanted it to be like a gust of wind because the bird's wings are up in the air. So I feel like it was a good change up of the snowflake embossing rather than just having it fall straight down. So that's what I did this time. Super easy. And I'm going to show you, remind me, I'm going to show you some more cards at the end, because I think maybe my viewers might be kind of tired of seeing all the nests of winter. So I'll just show you a whole bunch of other ones that I made, and then I think I'll move on to trying something else for next week. Okay, so we have a white card base, normal card size, and then an embossed layering piece, the mat. And oh yeah, Sandra, you're moving on. I know you've been doing tons of scrapbooking, dance scrapbooking. You must be tired of like the dance stamping now. So anyways, I already fussy cut the bird, so I'm using a different bird this time, but he's doing pretty much the same thing. It's just a different color. So I'm gonna stick with the same color scheme though, with the red and the white. And I just need to cut out my berries, and I have the extra leaves cut out. So that's going to be a pretty easy card. And of course, we're going to be using the Joyful Sayings Ephemera pack. So it's going to be a fast card. And if we're fast today, maybe I'll do a bonus. So let's get started. I'm going to get the card base cut, and we're going to make some room on my desk for the paper trimmer. Okay, so it's a white card base. Okay. Just a regular card size, so half of a piece of an 8.5 by 11. I'm just going to measure off 5.5, which is halfway on the long side. and cut it. Then I'm going to score it right along the middle so that it's easy to fold, and you get a nice crisp fold at 4 1/4. Okay, I'm going to put that aside. Now there is a layering piece here, the mat. It is like, it's an 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So I'm going to cut off a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece. So let's cut 4 inches here. And then I'll measure 5 1/4 long. Oh, you still have one more birthday card to make, eh? And then it's Christmas. I know you are always ahead of the game in sending out your Christmas cards, and I hope that if I play with this long enough, I'm gonna have enough Christmas cards to send out, but I need more time. There's just never enough time in the day, is there? Okay, so that's my layering piece. Here's my card base. Let's fold it in half so it doesn't take up so much space on my desktop, because you know when you're crafting, space on your desktop is always at a premium, because it doesn't matter how big your table is. I don't know about you, but I still manage to cover it. Doesn't matter how big it is. Of course, that said, I could use a bigger space. Actually, I could use a whole room just to myself, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Okay, that's my card base. Let's put it aside. So the only thing I need my cut and emboss machine for is the embossing. So let's bring that in. Okay. So here's the embossing folder. It's the Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder. And I'm going to take this piece, and I want the majority of the snow because I want it to be blowing sideways, but I think I want it to have more of a white space, like more of the, how do you say this? The lesser snow over here. So I'm not going to place it right up against this side because this has more snow, but that's just all personal preference. Okay, so let's run it through. There we go. I love this folder. I think it's just so useful for all your winter scenes. Okay, let's move this away, because that's the only thing I needed it for. All right, so it's gonna be super easy. This I am going to just adhere right in the middle on top, so I'm going to use some glue. And I don't usually put the glue right up to the edge because that allows me a little bit of wiggle room if I need to move it over a little bit to the left or right or whatever. The glue won't show, right, if I have to wiggle it sideways or up and down. I can see there's an edge here, so what I'm going to do is flip it over, and then it'll be only on the other side. So I always line it up, my spacing that is, and check it out before I lay it down. And even as I'm laying down, I'll just check that everything looks okay. And that's how I center it. And the glue gives you just a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, so see, my snow is on the right hand side, the heavier snow that is. All right, so let's lay things out. Let's lay things out. So I like to lay things out before I actually glue them down, so I know approximately where I need to place things. Oh, okay, so this this little bird has more greenery around it, so I may not need this piece actually. Oh, and I need my joyful sayings. So I've been storing them in this case, this empty case, and it keeps them all together. So I'm looking for the Merry Christmas one. let's see. Now, I haven't used any of these gold ones, so I may have to use it on a future card for something. Oh, here we go. Here it is. I already punched it out by accident. Okay, so here's where I'm going to put it on the right side. And that's approximately where that guy, maybe I'll let this guy, because the branch is so big, I'm going to let it dip down a little bit. Although if I'm going to raise this, so this guy is this sentiment, I raised it up on dimensional. So if I raise this up, I won't be able to let this overlap, I think, because I didn't plan on raising him up. I was just going to glue him down. So Sandra, I haven't convinced you to start fussy cutting yet, have I? Have I convinced anybody to start fussy cutting? Because I didn't love fussy cutting, but then there's all these images that have no dies, and I really like them. And I don't want to use the whole sheet, the whole piece of paper, because there's too many birds. So that's when I started fussy cutting. Let me see. You know what? I'm going to raise both of them, perhaps. Maybe that's what I'll do for this one. Okay, so I'm going to use my dimensionals and set those down, and because I know that doesn't need to move, so that'll provide me with kind of an anchor point for my scene, and I can work from there. Necessity. So you don't, if the, like, you don't have any desire to buy any of the DSPs that have a lot of fussy cutting or benefit from a lot of fussy cutting, like the Nests of Winter. Is that right? Because I see those and I'm like, oh, I can't help myself. I really like that, and I'm just gonna have to fussy cut. So, all right. So maybe what I'll do is I'm gonna raise this bird as well. I'm just trying to decide if I can fit this in somewhere, because I like the little red buds and everything on it, but I don't think this one works for this image. So you know what? I'm just gonna cut my berries. Sandra says she draws a line at fussy cutting DSP. Oh, you're missing out. I know you don't think so. See, I'm doing it right now, but I did save us some time by fussy cutting the bird ahead of time. I just do it in front of the TV. You know, when I'm watching something that doesn't require me to look at the TV all the time, then I will just fussy cut while I'm watching. And it's kind of relaxing. That wasn't too bad. There's one set of berries. Let's see if I can, maybe I would put the berries there. I kind of want something red there, and I'm thinking maybe another set over here. So let's cut the second one. Yeah, it's the, like that Flight Nary DSP. It's exactly like that. That one also did not have dies. That was the Celebration paper last year, and it was so pretty, and I still have some. I just need more time in the day to do more crafting, but so many other things that have to be done, like exercise. And I was just thinking, it's really too bad that exercise doesn't, that crafting doesn't burn more calories. You know, running through that paper through the embossing machine and die cutting, and why can't that burn like hundreds of calories? I would be set. I wouldn't have to go to the gym, and I wouldn't have to go out for walks. Like, seriously, lifting that cut and emboss machine, like, that thing's heavy. Why doesn't that burn more calories? I guess I would have to lift it like 50 times. Okay, let's see how this looks. Does it look funny if I put it over here? Or maybe I could put it like maybe right over here instead. Yeah, I think so. I think that's nice. I like having the little splash of red. So let's raise up this bird on dimensionals and put her down. Okay, let me just check. I'm just checking because I want this, I'm thinking I want this greenery to overlap. So I'm just gonna be careful that I don't put a piece of like dimensional right near this tip, because then it'll prevent me from overlapping that piece. So I'm just gonna make sure I put it farther up right there. And let's put there. I'm gonna get some of the smaller dimensionals out, I think. That one works. I think it just fits. That works out. That one's a little bit too big, I think. Maybe just over here. And I have the mini dimensionals too. I'll put one up here just to support the little pieces that are sticking out. All right, let's put this down. I'm going to take off all the backings. And I always like leaving my piece on the table as much as I can, because then I don't run the risk of bending it by accident when I'm trying to peel off backings or when I'm peeling off tear and tape or whatever. Okay, so let's position this. I want it just overlap just a tiny bit. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to use a little bit of glue, I think, because this is just going to sit right here. I'm going to put the glue right on the tip of that branch. Oh, Wink of Stella, you are right, Sandra. I do not use Wink of Stella often enough. I do love it, and I forget about it. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I need to use my Wink of Stella more. Okay, so let's see. Should I position it like this? Like this? Let's do this way. Okay, and I'm gonna put one back here, I think. Don't need a lot of glue, so. Like that. I think that looks good. And I'm going to put in a little red and white twine. Now don't, what's the word? Not curse me. Don't judge me. I have like leftover, I have tons of this twine that I bought for an old project like years ago. So I have to use it from my stash, but I know that Stampin' Up! Has its own red and white twine for the Christmas season. So you can use that, but this is from my stash, and I cannot justify buying more red and white twine when I have not, this is not the only one I have too. I have another bobbin, or what do you call this, another package of this, so I have to use it. Yeah, I could probably add some Wink of Stella to this somewhere, you know? It doesn't hurt. Let me just see afterwards. That's a great idea. I like that. Okay, I'm just adjusting my bow here. And I can tell that this is like twisted just a little bit. Let me just try and pull it out again. I want a little tiny bow, so let's pull it in a little bit. Does that look about right? Maybe a little bit smaller. All right. All right, so let's cut this. I'm gonna trim this end. Okay, and we'll stick it there. Okay, so what I like to do with, because this is such a tiny knot, right? I'm gonna take my glue dot and I'm gonna cut it in half, and even half is more than enough. So I just take I have a special set of scissors, like this is a separate set of scissors for cutting glue dots or on sticky stuff, because otherwise they'll stick to like the fabric bows. So I keep them separate, and then every once in a while I'll just clean it off. So now I'm just going to stick the center of my bow. Let me just rip this off entirely. That's just half a glue dot. And I'm just going to stick it right in the center and press it down. And pull off the glue dot. Okay. So now I've got my glue dot stuck on the back of the knot, and I'm just going to stick it right here. And that's pretty much, oh, last thing is the, I have rhinestones. I have rhinestone basic jewels. So I've been waiting to use, like, I have some other jewels that I've been waiting to use, like these ones. These ones would work too, actually. Maybe I should use some of this. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to use the silver ones here. I think those ones would work for this bird. These are the Adhesive-backed sparkle gems. And if you're joining in for the first time, don't worry. I always write down all the measurements and my products, the products that I use, in the video description after my live is over. So don't worry about writing it all down. I do provide you with that information. Okay, so let's use the silver ones. Yes, okay, so there's like small ones too. So let's put one of the bigger ones down here. That. And one more up here. Maybe here this time. This is why I like the take your pick tool too. Same reason I like my tweezers is that I can position things on my paper and before I actually put them down without my fingers in the way, and I can decide, oh, do I like it here? Do I like it there? I think this time I'm going to put it right here. Oh yeah, okay, let's try that. So Sandra's suggesting putting Wink of Stella on the pine needles. Great idea. Hang on. Let me get these put back in the packaging and I'll grab my Wink of Stella and we'll do that. I love that. I don't know why I never remember to use Wink of Stella, but I do love it. Okay, let me grab my Wink of Stella. I think it's been a while since I've used it. I'm just going to give it a good shake. And let's see. Oh, I should have done it before I put all the embellishments on, but let's see how it goes. I'm trying to see if I can see it coming out. I think it is. I think I need to squeeze just a little bit to get a little bit out. I can just barely see the sparkles. I know they're coming out. And I'll give you a close-up afterwards. All right. Let's see. I have to take off my glasses to take a look. Yes, I do think the Wink of Stella came out. Look. All right, let's take a closer look at this. Can you see? Oh, I'm trying to see if I'm taking it, you know, there we go. All right, yeah, it's just a little bit of hint of a sparkle. It's awesome. Great idea. Thank you, Sandra. I always forget to use my Wink of Stella. I'm gonna have to go back and add that to the other cards. Look at this. It's only 9:30. I think I have time to do maybe another card. So let me show you the bonus cards that I made for this week because I was on a roll. So here's the other card that you guys voted on. Okay, so there's the two cards with the two different birds, but the same pose. Here's the other card I made. So I fussy cut this bird, and the Happy Christmas is the joyful sayings, of course. And what I did was, because I thought the white, it actually is just white, and I thought it would not stand out enough if I put it onto any sort of surface. And so when I was playing with it, I thought I should just mount it onto, see, here's the original. See, there's the Happy Christmas. And so what I thought I would do is put it onto the cherry cobbler, which is my accent color, and just cut around it. So I just glued it down and I cut around it, and then I kind of give it that little bit of a pop, I think. That was my second card. And here's my third card. So from this piece of scenery paper that you see, it's one of the DSP sheets that is like, there's a pattern on both side, top and bottom of the paper, and I cut it right across the middle in half. Let me show you. Let me just find that piece. Here we go. I just got to pull it out. Here we go. Okay, so it's from this sheet of paper. So I just cut it across in half, and then I'd slice up the pieces that I needed to make my scenery. Okay, so they're not all equal, so I just cut the pieces I need where I needed it. So this is skinnier than that piece, all right? But I also used the piece that I had to slice off, and I put it in the middle here, okay? Because I didn't want to waste it. Okay, so there's another one, and my last one is this one. So these are all really easy pieces. Like, this is all from the same side of the DSP. See, it's all from this side of the DSP. And I got 3 cards out of it, and it was really easy. So, well, it wasn't too much fussy cutting. Like these two, Sandra, no fussy cutting. It was just the scenery, just the Joyful Sayings Ephemera pack, and that was pretty much it. That was it. So I think, should I try to do one? I mean, Sandra, you get to choose, I guess. Somebody else can chime in if they want, if you're live, but I think I could actually do this one because I have some of the pieces already. So we could do that one. Or we could do one of these. What do you think? Because this one I have no fussy cutting to do. Pretty easy. Okay, let's try this one. Let's move these out of the way and make some more room. Okay. Let's put this back in. Actually, you know what I'll do is I'm gonna just put that onto a piece of cherry cobbler. Okay, so I'm just taking this out, and then we'll fussy cut around it, but really it's not so bad. It just makes it pop more, because if it was just plain white, like, it would not stand out. So let's glue that down. My daughter asked me why I use dots behind the piece instead of just, you know, scribbling or whatever, but I just find my hand goes crazy sometimes and I end up too close to the edge and I don't have as much control over where I'm putting my glue down, so I just do dots, so then it doesn't get a little crazy. That's just me. All right, so I am just going to trim off this piece of red, the cobbler, cherry cobbler, so that it's easier to manage for cutting. All right, and we will fussy cut this. So this is just adding like a little bit of a red border so that it stands out more when it's mounted on my background. So I'm just following the edge here. Sorry, I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, and sometimes multitasking is hard. I don't know about you, but the older I get, the harder it is to do more than one thing at a time. I mean, like, I still do it, but sometimes you get some mistakes. Almost done. There. All right, so there is the red border. All right, so I need a white card base again. So let me just get that piece of leftover white that I had. Where did it go? That is always the question. What do I do with it? Oh, here we go. Okay, let me just double check that this is the right piece, because sometimes I cut other pieces. Yeah, this is 5.5. And then I'm gonna need red. So I do, sorry, I have cherry cobbler. This is the other part. I think it was the other half of the piece that I cut for this. So I'm just going to measure how wide it was. This one, again, don't worry about writing it all down. I will transcribe it all in the video descriptions. So this is 3 7/8 inch wide. So let's bring back my paper trimmer. Three 7/8 inch wide. I'm just going to double check that that works for this piece. You know, I could just glue it down and then I'll just, and then trim it afterwards, actually. Okay, so 3 7/8, that looks right. Okay. And it looks like my DSP is just a smidgen too long. So let me just double check that. I can just trim it. Yeah, I think I'm going to trim this just a tiny bit because it looks like it's a tiny bit too long. So I'm just cutting off a sliver. Okay. Let's see if that fits. I think that looks good. All right, so let's adhere that down so they will just stay together. Again, I don't go super close to the edge. So then I have room for wiggle. And I'm holding the paper up on an angle while I figure out if the spacing is correct before I lie it down. And as I lie it down, I'm adjusting too. Okay, so I have a little bit more room on the right, so I'm just going to wiggle it over just a little bit. Oh, now I moved it too far. There we go. Oh, I moved that too far up and down. Okay, that's good. Perfect. Let's fold. Oh, I forgot to score this. Let's score it at 4 1/4. And fold it over. Okay. So now I can mount this right in the center. right, so what is behind here? So what I put here was a small circle of vellum, okay, just to anchor it, and a piece of ribbon. So I need to die cut that little piece of vellum, and I'll need that bird as well. Let me see if I have, I don't think I fussy cut another bird like that yet. I'll have to find that guy. Nope, don't have him. Okay, so we'll have to fussy cut that bird. All right, so let's die cut that. Let's die cut the vellum first. So let me grab my vellum, find a piece. I have, this is the lovely layers. I have a lot of this left over. So I'm just gonna, let's see if I have a piece already cut. Sometimes I die cut things and it doesn't work for that project, and then I save it. Oh, perfect, I have one. I don't have to die cut one. Okay, so that was die cut. You can also punch these circles out. I know that there are different circle sizes. I don't have any of the punches, but you could easily punch that one out. And I need some white ribbon. So the ribbon came from, I'm pretty sure this came from the Expressions of Kindness kit. I don't remember. But it's not marked, so I'm pretty sure it's from a kit. Okay, so what I did first was I'm gonna lay this down again. So I like to lay it down before I actually set it in place. And I think that's where it's going to go. So because vellum, you can see the adhesive behind it. I'm only going to put adhesive right in the center because I'm going to be able to cover that up, right? So we'll just put adhesive right in the center with some Stamp and Seal. Let's see if that's, yeah, right at the tip. Okay. So I'm just putting some right in the center. Okay. And I'm going to position it. I cut the paper slightly differently. I wanted my bird a little bit lower, so my sentiment's going to be a little bit lower on this one. Okay, and I'm going to cut a little bit of ribbon so that it will just fold behind my Happy Christmas. So I'm just kind of taking a look at how long I want it to be. Somewhere, whoops, not that one. See, if I used my sticky scissors here, it would stick to my ribbon, and I would have a hard time getting it off. So approximately here. Okay, so to stick my ribbon on, I'm just going to put adhesive, Stamp and Seal on the back. Whoops, I need to move my tape up. So that will allow me to position the tape on the ribbon on the back of my sentiment, and it's better than glue because then I can reposition it if I need to. So let's see. Okay, so I'm going to turn it around, and I will position my ribbon like this from the front, because then I can see what I'm doing. So I think it's a little bit too far that way. Okay, so there we go. So if you're not happy with it, I think, okay, that could be a little bit shorter. I can easily peel it off, pull it down a little bit, readjust. That's the benefit of using Stamp and Seal instead of glue. Okay, so I think that's a little bit long. I'm going to trim it. There we go. That's better. Okay, So I just need some dimensionals on the back to mount it. So let's use some smaller ones this time. Oops. And I'm trying not to put it right here where the ribbon crosses over, because then there's an extra added height. It's going to make it kind of lumpy. So if I avoid putting it right where it crosses and there's like 2 layers of ribbon, hopefully it won't make it too bumpy. So I'm going to just put it over here and on the other side. Maybe here. Okay. So let's take off the backings. And we'll position it right here in the middle. Okay, so the last thing I have to do is to find that little bird who's flying. Let's see. Okay, here's the original one that I cut from. And there's one right here. So let's cut him out. So I don't do the fussy cutting part while it's still part of the main piece of DSP, because it's too hard to hold the whole thing and properly fussy cut. So I just cut him out first. And then I will trim the edges. We've had such beautiful weather recently. I just can't get over how beautiful this fall has been here in Ottawa. Beautiful for walking and not too hot. Nice cool evenings. Sandra, you're asking what I do with the leftover of the DSP. Yes, I do cut out like some of the pine cones. Like I have a bunch of extra pieces that I cut out because I knew that they'd be useful. So I stored them in like a little bin here of other pieces that I cut out, because it was in the rest of the, see, there's a pine cone down there, some leaves, so that I can play with them when I'm, you know, designing a new card or putting one together. It's just ready to go. Because I just can't throw away a good DSP. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. Pairing the pine cones with the rings of nature. I actually did get that set out just yesterday, because I'm thinking of making a card for a friend who moved into a new home, and there's a little house in that set, so I'm thinking of using it. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with it yet, but I will share once it's done. I have my one stamp bundle that I bought. What is it called? The Sophisticated Sled. I have not touched except for one die. I have not played with it yet, and I really, I don't know why I'm holding back. It's like, I don't know, when you have like a present that you really want to open, but you know something good is inside, it's like the anticipation is half the fun. What other craft stuff is on your table? Is it your daughter who's crafting and like taking up half the table with stuff? Okay, so my bird is done. So I'm going to raise him up because I want him to sit at the same height as my sentiment. So let's put some little dimensionals behind. Oh my gosh, the magnolias, that's right. You bought the magnolia bundle. That is another really beautiful set. I have to be picky, and you know, there's just not enough time in the day to like get to everything. You know, as much as I want to just sit here and craft, real life is like infringing on my my craft time. Okay, so there are some parts here that are really tiny that I still want to pop up to make sure that they don't get flattened in the mail. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to take my scissors that I saved for sticky stuff, and I'm going to cut my dimensional in half so I can fit a dimensional behind like this little tail feather. And then over here, I think that's probably good. Let me just check. Okay, so this sits over here. So that's okay because I have a dimensional behind here, but because my vellum is not raised, it's fine. So, okay, so let's take the backings off. Oh, diamond painting. Yes. My daughter likes to do her diamond painting in front of the TV, so it's all over our floor or on the coffee table there, because that's where she does her diamond art. Okay, let's turn this guy over and let's position him. So again, I'm using my tweezers because it really helps me see where I'm going to position something before I put it down, and my fingers aren't in the way, so I think I like it. I'm going to cover up that little tip there. I don't think it really matters, but well, maybe a little further down. I think I'm going to leave him there. All right, that's 2 cards today. Amazing. Look how fast it is when you're using just DSP and the Ephemera pack. I mean, I think, you know, the part of the inspiration comes from picking colors that are in the DSP that you're using or something complementary, and then using like a sentiment that works with it, and working with those colors and the placement, and that's what makes it easier. So that is it. So we've done 2 cards today. Let me bring the other ones back. And I'll put the measurements for both in the description, but you know, try it out. If you haven't tried the Ephemera packs yet, you may want to give it a shot, or just case these with your own stamp sets and your own stash, and happy creating. So I hope that you're inspired to do your own cards, your own Christmas cards, and use the nests of winter. I love it. So have a great week, everybody. Happy creating, and I will see you next week with something new. Bye.